Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Hopefully, everybody is sort of pacing themselves today. It's going to be a big night tonight for WWE fans. Of course, everybody should be turning on the WWE Network, whether if it's in the middle of the night, like it is for me here on the Pacific West Coast, 2:30 a.m. Live from Tokyo. We're going to be seeing the Beast in the East. I guess this isn't a pay-per-view. I guess it's just sort of like a super show. I don't think you should treat this like a pay-per-view. I think it's just going to be a normal night of wrestling. It's just going to be exciting because we've never seen action from WWE in Japan in this sort of a setting, and you can sort of see from the listing of the matches that it's going to be a weird night. This isn't even really like a Monday Night Raw show. It's just sort of like it is what it is. It's a taped show live from Tokyo, which was supposed to be a house show, and it's just you're supposed to see the atmosphere about the American wrestling stars wrestling in front of this Japanese crowd. Whether if you are a subscriber to New Japan World, or if you just casually viewed the big New Japan show, which happened back in January, the big one where Jeff Jarrett put it on pay-per-view with Global Force. You had Matt Stryker, you had Jim Ross. Everybody saw how exciting and how fun it was to watch the show over there. But the Japanese crowd is different from the American crowd. They just sort of they don't really get riled and get into it like you would in an American crowd. But I don't know if all 7 matches that are being advertised. This is going to be a 3.5-hour live show if you are in Japan, but it's only going to be a 2-hour live special. So we sort of have to see what WWE is going to put into this show. As of right now, the only advertised match we have is the one that NXT is pushing like crazy. Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. We know that Brock Lesnar is supposed to make an appearance. And the rumored match that's going to go down is Brock Lesnar versus Kofi Kingston. A match that, honestly, I am very, very excited for. The match that Wrestling Observer Live put over what was supposed to be the main event. John Cena and Dolph Ziggler going up against King Barrett and Kane, which is even too wacky to be a Monday Night Raw main event. I don't know where Dean Ambrose is. I don't know where Roman Reigns is. I don't know if maybe they're doing another house show in another part of the world, or maybe they're back in the United States doing a show. But Kane and King Barrett are 2 guys that I never thought would team up. If I had to scrap a match for time, honestly, it would be this one. But you know that they're going to try and send John Cena out there to try and make him look like he's the biggest star of all time. Chris Jericho going up against Neville is a match that honestly could be very, very fun. Jericho, takes it really seriously when he goes in front of these crowds over there. And he's going to try to make Neville look like a big star. You have Nikki Bella versus Paige versus Naomi. A rematch from Extreme Rules. This is the triple threat match for the WWE Championship. I really don't think that any championships are going to change hands on this show, but they might want to do something. This isn't a pay-per-view, but it is a WWE Network live special, and I think they're going to want to be able to create a buzz about this show. So I'm not 100% sure, but there could be a Divas title change in this match. And then we go to the Lucha Dragons, Lucha, going up against the New Day. I guess this should have been for the Tag Team Championships, but the New Day dropped the belts the last pay-per-view to the Millions of Dollars crew, and the Primetime Players got the gold now, so we'll have to see what goes from there. And then in what is another weird match, Cesaro versus Diego. Cesaro had a damn good match on Monday Night Raw, so we're going to have to see from that. But this is going to be fun. Like I said, some people might have to take some naps. Some people might have to just be on their last leg. My good buddy Miguel, freaking Yaya 88, he told me to have the gimmicks ready for tonight to get ready for this one. So 2:30 in the morning, the Beast from the East show. It's going to be going down live on the WWE Network. Of course, this is going to be from I believe that this is on from Sumo Hall. I'm not 100% sure. I've only seen a few shows on New Japan World, so I'm fired up. I hope you guys are fired up. It's going to be a good night of wrestling. Let's talk a little bit about what's going to be coming up. Chris Jericho going up against Neville at the Beast for the East show could easily be one of the best wrestling matches of the night. Of course, Chris Jericho is on this weird kick. It's the second time he's done that, but he's, basically agreed to go on the road with WWE just as long as they don't put him on Monday Night Raw, they don't put him on SmackDown. He just wants to wrestle on house shows, which is, he calls it the reverse Brock Lesnar effect, where basically he just likes going out and entertaining the crowds, and he basically twists Vince McMahon's arm until Vince gives him what he wants. Jericho has always been an entertainer, and he likes going out in front of these shows and giving him the best there is. He has a great story about going to Japan, I believe this had to have been a few years ago, and asking to wrestle against... forgot the guy's name. Yoshitatsu. And basically, he asked Yoshitatsu to get really into this match because he wanted Tatsu to have a good match in front of his home crowd and be able to get over. And Jericho basically tells a story of having to punch Yoshitatsu right in the face for him to show his aggression and get into the match because he didn't feel like Tatsu was bringing it the way that he's going to be bringing it. Jericho, of course, asked to wrestle Finn Balor on this show, I believe, and because Finn Balor getting the NXT Championship shot against Kevin Owens, the match had to be wrestled, I believe, the night before, which would have been last night. I don't know about time zones and all this stuff, man. But, Jericho going up against Neville is another match against a future star that just came up out of NXT. And I think that this honestly could be the best wrestling show of the night. I know that Neville really doesn't have a whole lot going in WWE right now. And, of course, with Jericho not being on television at all, there's no real storyline to talk about. But, honestly, I don't know what Jericho does on these shows. I don't know if he's just wrestling on these shows, putting guys over, or if he's going to get it. But honestly, for a prediction in this match, I honestly think that in my prediction, I think that Jericho would put Neville over. I don't think that Jericho, especially wrestling on house shows, traveling around the country, is going to be caring about what his record is. He just likes being involved in wrestling. I made a video talking about The Rock the other day, Rock versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32, a rumored match, and just saying that, for a long time I thought The Rock was really selfish and The Rock didn't care about us wrestling fans, and just thought that with what Rock has done in the last year by basically flying across the country to appear at WrestleMania 31 after appearing on Saturday Night Live, and then showing up at the Boston house show, showing up on Monday Night Raw and putting over Rusev last summer, that you can really see this guy really does love wrestling. It is it's in his body, it's in his soul, and he wants to give back to it as much as he can. And for Jericho, he's getting paid, but only to wrestle on house shows and not care about becoming a bigger star on television and TV. That he really does love doing this and giving back. And I'm hoping that he is wrestling a lot of these younger guys coming up from NXT, getting them experience on the road and helping them, just sort of, become bigger on the bigger star that is out there, on the biggest stage that they can out there. So I'm really looking forward to this match. I think that Jericho versus Neville really could be a good match. And if I had to put money down, I'd be putting money on Neville tonight. If you've been watching NXT the last few weeks, you can really tell that NXT is treating this like this is their own show, and this is the main event for this WWE special. Kevin Owens going up against Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. They did a 3-part special, sort of like a mini documentary, saying who is Finn Balor. The Demon is getting released at the Beast in the East show. Finn Balor really has taken the WWE by storm. I think that a lot of people really didn't even know who Prince Devitt was when he signed with WWE, but WWE made it seem like it was a big deal, and they kept this guy not really hidden because he's been on these NXT shows and we get to see him wrestle every couple of weeks, and he's been on all the specials. But when he's come out dressed as this demon persona where he paints himself up and he wears that thing with the spikes on the back, and you can really see that it's him getting in to what he's doing. And he's really taken the WWE by storm. I'm sure he's one of the biggest merchandise movers on WWE Shop. They've come up with everything from a mask to a headband. They've got beanies. They've got different shirts. NXT really is, finding a way to push that merch, and I'm sure that, he's selling just as much merch as he ever sold, wrestling indies and things like that, and wrestling on the greatest stage of them all. And if you watch that special that WWE put up, it was on the last 3 episodes of NXT. But if you don't watch NXT, you can go on the WWE network and you can watch it. This guy was a big star. He started wrestling at 18. He started wrestling in his own, promotion, and he opened his own wrestling school at 20 in Ireland. And then from Ireland, he moved to the New Japan Dojo, which was a big risk. And he had to start basically at the bottom of Japan and work himself up to being one of the biggest stars. And he'd been on top of New Japan for about 8 years, and then took a gamble to basically go to the NXT Performance Center, which would basically be like his 3rd wrestling school that he's attended, and basically start at the bottom of there and try and move up to the top of the WWE, because it was a lifelong dream of him being a wrestling fan. They showed pictures of him traveling and going to the WWE New York, the World sort of restaurant, and getting his picture taken in front of it. And they really made him look like he was one of the biggest marks there is, talking about how SummerSlam 1995 is one of his favorite pay-per-views of all time. He used to sit and watch the show over and over again while he played Legos in his living room. And they just made the guy look like he is basically it. Kevin Owens, he's only been in NXT for a short period of time. He had one match where he came in and he beat up the hippie doing his debut, and then on the same show where Sami Zayn won the championship, attacked his friend to basically stake his claim, as he wanted to be the #1 contender, because he wanted to be the NXT champion, because he wanted a better life for him and his family. To grow up on. He's basically this prize fighter where he just fights for money. The more he wins, the bigger his claim is. But I think he's sort of outgrown being the NXT champion, being involved with the promos and wrestling matches with John Cena on the last few pay-per-views. It's sort of weird to still have that NXT championship. I think it's the right time to sort of flip a switch. He's a Monday Night Raw performer now, and just sort of, drop the championship here in NXT, and then probably beat John Cena at the upcoming Battleground show, where the United States Championship is actually going to be on the line. So it's sort of like you lose the small prize, but you gain something a little bit bigger by being able to. He already got the 1 win over Cena at Elimination Chamber. Now he's actually going to be getting a win at Battleground in order to get a championship and move up in the ranks. This is going to be a damn good match from Owens and Balor. They really do seem like they have a lot of chemistry together. I don't know if they've ever actually worked together, but during the NXT shows, you've been able to see that they have this sort of chemistry that they can really do almost anything in the world and have a really good match. Finn Balor going back to Japan, a place where I talked about he had wrestled for 8 years as a part of New Japan. He has a really good friendship with Machine Gun Anderson, a part of the Bullet Club, who actually wore his shirt as he went out to the ring last night for one of the New Japan shows to really show the unity of these guys. Finn Balor was the original leader of the Bullet Club. I don't think there's any way in the world that Finn Balor is not going to be winning the NXT Championship. Where they go from there, I'm not sure, because as you can see with Kevin Owens, like, he won the championship, and then almost immediately he was put on Monday Night Raw to answer the open challenge of John Cena, and then go after John Cena at the Elimination Chamber show. He wasn't really a part of NXT that long. Finn Balor is a guy that they had to give a large, guaranteed contract in order to bring in NXT. So you would think that he's going to be a part of the WWE main roster sooner than later. And there's lots of stories about NXT is going to be a traveling road band, where basically they're going to be doing shows. They just announced SummerSlam weekend. I believe it's the night before SummerSlam. NXT is actually going to run a show at the Barclays Center, and that's going to be a real big, huge ordeal. So when they take NXT on the road, if they want to keep doing these larger arenas, they're going to have a star there. And is Finn Balor going to be exclusive to NXT to help those shows? I know that Finn Balor is on the poster for the Aftershock show that's going to be here in Sacramento. It was him, Sasha Banks, and I believe Charlotte on there. So you can tell that at least he's going to be coming here and to Sacramento. That's in October. So I don't really see him as being the champion of NXT for long. But then you got to think of who's the person who's actually going to beat him. You know, Sami Zayn's injured right now. You know, Samoa Joe's there, but you would think that Samoa Joe is somebody who's not going to be in NXT for long either. But, you know, basically, Kevin Owens was pinned for the first time on NXT yesterday on the show, and they made that out to be a big deal where Finn Balor got the pin, and now he's going to be going to Tokyo and getting it over. But Finn Balor's tag team partner was Samoa Joe, and is Joe going to step up to the plate on the next NXT show and basically say, you know, we finally beat this guy. You won the championship. Congratulations. But, you know, it was us as the team that slayed the dragon in Kevin Owens. So I want a shot at you now. And now we have these, you know, matches built up of Balor going up against Joe for the championship. We're going to have to see. It's going to be fun going down in Japan tonight. But Owens versus Balor is on the plate. We got to see what goes down. My money is on Finn Balor to get the win. Main event time. This match is probably the one match in WWE that I've been looking forward to for a long time. This is going to be a lot of fun. Since this match was first announced, I was thinking, man, this is going to be cool. This is going to be really something. Brock Lesnar going up against Kofi Kingston. Of course, as of right now, it is being promoted as Brock Lesnar's first match since losing the championship at WrestleMania 31, where Lesnar was cashed in on and lost to Seth Rollins. This will be his first match since then. I know that Lesnar had a match against Rollins, but Rollins basically ran out of the arena as fast as he could in order to keep his championship. That was the night after WrestleMania on Monday Night Raw. But this will probably be the first match to have a finish. And I know that a lot of people thinking that Brock versus Kofi is just going to be a squash where Brock beats Kofi in a matter of minutes. I'd like to see a match where basically Brock killed Kofi in the matter of the first few seconds and then basically just drug him around the ring and just basically showed the world how big and bad Brock Lesnar is, where he just continued to throw him around as a beaten and bruised man, just putting the beating on him, trying to show that he cared about losing the WWE Championship and he wants to climb up the ranks. Brock versus Kofi opens the doors to a lot of things that could go down. Of course, with the Money in the Bank match, I was picking Kofi Kingston to get the win because I thought this match was going to mean more to the WWE. I thought maybe, you know, Kofi and the New Day guys would capture the Money in the Bank, and then Brock would basically take the beating to Kofi as a way of saying that he wanted to basically be the number one contender and get a shot to go after Rollins sooner than later. But Brock is the number one contender that was granted to him by Triple H on Monday Night Raw, where he now has a match against Rollins at Battleground. It's going to be one-on-one. Hopefully they're going to set the stage where there's nowhere to run for Seth Rollins from Brock Lesnar, and he's going to have to stay into the ring, and he's going to basically have nowhere to go. But there's a lot of fun things that they could do with Brock versus Kofi. Of course, Kofi is the guy that has always found ways to work in spots in order to get him over no matter what the match is, whether if it's the Royal Rumble and he gets thrown out of the ring and he gets carried around by the Adam Rose group and he gets to jump back in, or we've seen him basically thrown out of the ring, land on Rusev, and Rusev beat him up and put him on top of the guardrail where his feet never touched and he had to jump back. Basically, he's been thrown out of the ring onto the announce table and have been forced to jump back. He's done a lot of spots, which a lot of people think that are really cool. I would hope that they protect the F5, but you could see some sort of acrobatic move by Kofi Kingston. Maybe early in the match, Brock goes for the F5 to kill it, and Kofi finds some way to sort of, reverse out of it and do some sort of a crazy spin move. Of course, if Kofi's going to be there, you know that the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods are going to be there, and what kind of three-way spots can they do? From being a fan of Big E Langston and talking about him a lot, I know that he's stuck in this New Day group, and I'm hoping that he can grow to get somewhere. Basically, I think a year ago, they were treating Big E Langston like he was a future main eventer. He was tag teaming with CM Punk and John Cena. I hope that wasn't 2 years ago, because it seems like yesterday to me when this guy was the Intercontinental Champion. He was being involved in Monday Night Raw main events, and it seemed like he was going to be there. I really look at this guy and think that he's a future world champion, definitely by not having those two big belts, by having your WWE Championship and your World Heavyweight Championship. It holds back a lot of people. I know that people look at the World Heavyweight Championship like it is a lesser title, but, when people held it, it was almost like what the Intercontinental Championship meant back in the 90s. It still elevated you above everybody else. It made you seem like WWE really did care about you. And by not having that belt, it hurts guys like Sheamus, Dean Ambrose, Biggie Langston, Cody Rhodes. These are guys that could be getting elevated, but instead they're just stuck in these, Monday Night Raw and pay-per-view battles where it's like, I'll beat you here and then you beat me there. No one's really going over. It's just 50-50 booking where I'll beat you today and you can beat me tomorrow. So you only look good for a limited matter of time. But Brock wrestling in Japan is a really, really big deal. Brock versus Kofi should be a lot of fun. If I had a farm, I would bet the farm that there's no way in the world Brock Lesnar's losing this match. I don't see any members of the Shield. There's no Roman Reigns. There's no Dean Ambrose. There's no Seth Rollins on here. So as far as I could tell, there is not going to be any outside interference. I don't even think that the WWE is sending the announcers there. I think they're going to be doing it Bound for Glory style, where basically whoever is announcing this show, whether if it's the normal NXT announcers are going to be announcing the NXT match, or maybe it's Cole and the King, Booker T, the normal group of guys, JBL, if that's who's announcing it, they're going to be announcing it from WWE Studios in Stamford. They're not even going to be out there on the trip. But this should be a lot of fun. This whole show, Brock versus Kofi, is going to be going down 2:30 in the morning. WWE Network. Don't miss this, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you do, it's always going to be on demand. But you're probably going to see the spoilers first thing when you wake up.